shoulders of many heavy weights, and many have known anxiety which led them deeper into isolation emotionally and mentally. But there's change on the wind. It cries through the mountains and hearkens above the streams of the familiar wilderness that I love. Welcome to another episode of OverSoul Overland, where we explore the wilds within, while traversing the wilderness we know to be our inheritance. So join us as we finally get to conclude the Hidden Gem adventure ride through Prentice Cooper State Forest. In this episode, you will see a large variety of technical terrain, and you'll get to see a Toyota Tacoma clear all of it with relative ease, completely stock. Just so happens that was the guy in front of me in line, so he gets the limelight today. But just realize that this Hummer is flying and crawling through the trail behind him. And as we take in the beauty of this unique part of our world, let's not forget that there were many before us and there will be many after us. So just like always, let's get out there and experience it for ourselves and know it and love it and meditate on the beautiful Word of God as we travel into another wilderness. So thank you for joining us. Without further ado, let's see what this trail has in store. Just as before, you'll notice that we're riding in a convoy style. We still have a fairly large group of folks navigating the terrain, and although we've stopped once or twice, this was an all-day event. So, as you can tell, we're starting to have a lot more fun with the variety of terrain on the trails. From washouts to ruts, and a lot of other small obstacles that make it way more fun. This is the part of the ride that I was particularly excited about, because we're starting to get closer and closer to Haley Road, located in Prentice Cooper State Forest. It's a 4x4 road, and it is known for its pitch and sway and rolling hills. So at the time of this recording, it was late summer, and I was still fairly new at this. So I was excited to get out there and see what these things could do. And there was no shortage of surprises as I watched a lot of stock trucks clear all of this pretty easily. find ourselves in another area where the camera simply does not do it justice. This is some very rough terrain, and picking the wrong line may result in rear diff getting scraped on some of the rocks. For a lot of us, this was our first adventure going up such a steep grade and having to pick such a particular line. So as you start to see, everyone's kind of rolling and kind of picking their own line. Now fortunately for me, I've got clearance, so it doesn't matter too much which line I pick here. And as you can see, there are definitely some dips that sneak up on you pretty fast. So this is definitely a ride that I would recommend that you take someone who's a little bit more experienced with you. And if you do try to do it by yourself, make sure that you have the ability to recover your vehicle. Have a winch or have some low-level recovery gear, especially if you encounter rain, because you will definitely need it if you do not pick the right path. So with that being said, we're through one of our bigger obstacles, and the road just keeps on winding through this beautiful forest. Let's see what's up through the next bend. about this point into the ride, I had become fairly well acclimated to the terrain. I'd realized what my truck was capable of, and I started picking lines that definitely weren't the same line as the guy in front of me. By doing this, I was able to kind of play around with my transfer case a little more than I usually would, and figure out just how much power I had on some of these obstacles. And let me tell you, that is always a good time. here we find ourselves at the bottomed out part of Haley Road. This is the area where the creek intersects the main pathway, and as you can see, it is all large stones. This was one of the more technical obstacles because you kind of had to shimmy your way across and then power your way up that steep hill on the other side. So again, super impressed with this Toyota in front of me. The guy was fearless. He just cleared it, maybe scraped all of about once right there, and just kept going. This was one that made me a little nervous because of my turning ratio on my tires. I have some oversized nubby tires on this thing, and I can't get an articulate turn like some of these stock trucks. So picking my path through obstacles and turns is especially difficult because you're always worried you're going to hit the wrong angle and put a little bit too much pressure on one part of your suspension. But we all cleared it. We start the dramatic climb up this beautiful embankment, and I wish I had my camera woman with me because it was breathtaking the entire way up, the entire way down. So as you can see, this is just one of those places that you've got to see it for yourself. You've got to experience it for yourself. And it is definitely a place where you can learn quite a bit about what your vehicle's capable of and these more technical situations.